Have you ever walked into an airport and instantly felt lost? Even though there are signs literally everywhere, pointing in every direction, somehow you still end up wandering in circles, missing your gate, or ending up in the same coffee shop twice. Here's the thing, that's not an accident. That feeling of controlled chaos? Completely intentional. Airports are masterpieces of psychological engineering. They're designed to guide your behavior, manipulate your pace, and yes, sometimes confuse you on purpose. In this video, we're pulling back the curtain on airport design. We'll break down why terminals look the way they do, how the layout secretly controls your decisions, and what airports actually gain from keeping you just a little bit disoriented. By the end, you'll never walk through an airport the same way again. Let's dive in. 1. Airports are built for flow, not comfort. So let's start with the basics. When architects design airports, comfort isn't the priority. Neither is intuitive navigation. The number one goal? Flow. Airports need to move thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of people every single day without total chaos breaking out. Think about it. Different flights, different languages, different stress levels, all crammed into the same building at the same time. It's a recipe for disaster, if not carefully managed. That's why every single element, the hallways, the escalators, the checkpoints, is positioned to control how crowds move. And here's where it gets interesting. Straight paths are actually rare in airport design. You'd think a straight line from check-in to your gate would be efficient, right? Wrong. Instead, terminals use curves, gradual turns, and what designers call visual breaks. These are intentional bends in the corridor that prevent you from seeing too far ahead. Why? Because when you can see a long, empty hallway stretching out in front of you, you speed up. You start power walking, maybe even running. But when the path curves, when you can't quite see what's around the corner, you naturally slow down. You hesitate. You look around. And when people move slower, congestion becomes way easier to manage. Many airports avoid long, straight corridors, even when they have the space for them. London Heathrow, for example, has famously winding terminals. Singapore Changi uses curved glass walls that create a sense of flow while subtly guiding you in the intended direction. It feels organic, almost calming, but it's completely calculated. And then there's the width of the corridors themselves. You'll notice that hallways near gates are often wider, while corridors leading away from retail areas are narrower. Narrow spaces naturally speed people up. Wide spaces slow them down and encourage lingering. Airports use this to their advantage constantly. So the next time you feel like you're walking in circles, remember? You kind of are. But it's all part of the plan. 2. Why signs feel confusing? Okay, so let's talk about those signs. Because if you've ever stood in the middle of a terminal staring at a giant sign that says, Gates A1 to A30, with an arrow pointing somewhere, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Airport signage feels confusing because it's designed to give you just enough information to keep moving, but not enough to encourage you to stop and think too hard. Here's the psychology. If a sign told you everything, like Gate B12 is 800 meters straight ahead, then left at the bookstore, past security exit 3, up one escalator, you'd stop. You'd process. You'd probably pull out your phone and double check. And in a space where thousands of people are moving at once, stopping is the enemy. So instead, signs are intentionally minimal and repetitive. You see Gates A1 to A30 with an arrow. You walk. You see it again 50 meters later. Another arrow. You keep walking. Each sign only gives you your next step, not the full journey. It's like breadcrumbs. You're being guided incrementally, and it keeps foot traffic moving without bottlenecks. But here's where it gets even more intentional. Sign placement is also designed to prevent decision fatigue. Too many signs? People freeze. Too few? People panic. Airports aim for a sweet spot where you feel just slightly uncertain, but not enough to stop and ask for help. And the colors matter too. Blue usually means services, restrooms, information desks. Yellow often indicates caution or warnings. Green means exits or safety. These aren't random choices. They're based on decades of research into how humans process visual information under stress. Now, add in the fact that airports are international spaces. The people walking through them speak dozens of different languages. So, symbols and icons become crucial. That's why you see so much pictographic signage. Little stick figures, arrows, icons of planes and suitcases. Universal design, minimal words. But even those icons are simplified to the point of abstraction. A little airplane silhouette could mean departures, gates, check-in, or flight information depending on context. You're expected to infer meaning based on where you are in the terminal. And most of the time, you do, because the flow has already guided you to the right area. It's brilliant, honestly. Confusing, frustrating, but brilliant. 3. Security as a design tool. All right, now let's talk about the part of the airport everyone loves to hate: security. But here's the thing. Security checkpoints aren't just about safety. They're also psychological pressure points, designed to control behavior and keep people moving at a very specific pace. Think about the design of a typical security area. The ceilings are lower than the rest of the terminal. The lighting is harsher, more fluorescent. The lanes are tight and structured. There are constant instructions. Take off your shoes, remove your laptop, liquids in a bag, belt off, jacket off, keys out. All of this creates a heightened sense of urgency and compliance. You feel rushed, you feel watched, and because of that, you move faster and follow instructions without questioning them. Even the placement of the bins and conveyor belts is optimized. Ever notice how the bins are stacked right at the beginning of the line? That's intentional. If they were further down, people would hesitate, slow down, and create jams. By putting them right there, you're immediately given a task. Grab a bin, start unloading. The physical layout also minimizes hesitation. The lanes are narrow enough that you can't really turn around or second-guess yourself. Once you're in, you're committed. You're in the flow, and the design makes sure you stay there. And here's something you might not have noticed. The anxiety itself is part of the design. Not in a cruel way, but in a functional one. Stress keeps people alert and focused. It reduces distractions. You're less likely to wander off or cause delays when you're in that heightened state. Some airports have even started experimenting with more calming security designs, softer lighting, rounded corners, natural materials, because they found that extremely stressed passengers actually slow down and make more mistakes. So now, the goal is controlled stress, enough to keep you moving, not so much that you freeze up. Once you're through security, the design shifts again. The ceilings open up, the lighting softens. You enter the retail and dining zones, where the entire atmosphere is designed to make you relax, linger, and, of course, spend money. Which brings us to the next area. 4. Why duty-free comes first. So you've made it through security. You're relieved. You've got time before your flight. And suddenly, you're walking through a giant duty-free store whether you like it or not. This isn't random. This is the most profitable piece of real estate in the entire airport. Here's the setup. Right after security, passengers are in a very specific psychological state. You're relaxed. The hard part is over. You're early. Most people arrive with plenty of buffer time. And you're bored. Your flight doesn't board for another 45 minutes and you've already scrolled through your phone twice. You are the perfect customer. Airports know this. In fact, many airports make more money per square foot from retail than airlines do from ticket sales. Let that sink in. The shops are more valuable than the planes. That's why, in many major airports, the path from security to the gates forces you to walk directly through duty-free zones. There's often no way to avoid it. You have to walk past perfumes, chocolates, alcohol, electronics, luxury watches. It's a gauntlet of temptation. And the layout inside these stores? Also not random. High-margin impulse items, miniature liquor bottles, candy, travel-sized skincare, are placed at eye level near the entrance. Expensive luxury goods are deeper inside, creating a sense of discovery. Oh, I didn't know they sold that here. The lighting is warmer. The aisles are wider. Everything is designed to make you slow down and browse. Compare that to the narrow, rushed corridors you just came from. It's night and day. Some airports, like Dubai International, have turned this into an art form. Their duty-free section is practically a mall. You can buy gold bars, designer handbags, electronics, gourmet food, anything. And because you're in transit, you tell yourself it's a special occasion. I'm traveling. I deserve this. There's even a term for this in the industry, the dwell time economy. The longer you stay in the terminal, the more likely you are to spend money. So airports design themselves to maximize dwell time. Comfortable seating near shops, charging stations in retail zones, restaurants with long menus and slow service. Every minute you're not on the plane is a minute you could be spending money. And airports are very, very good at making sure you do. So here's the bottom line. Airports aren't confusing by mistake. They're not poorly designed. They're actually incredibly well designed, just not for your convenience. Every curve, every sign, every narrow hallway and duty-free detour is part of a carefully engineered system. A system designed to manage massive crowds, reduce delays, maximize safety, and, let's be honest, squeeze as much money out of you as possible before you board. Next time you're wandering through an airport terminal, feeling lost, stopping to check a map, or impulse buying overpriced chocolate, just remember, it's all part of the plan. You're not confused. You're exactly where the airport wants you to be. If this video changed the way you see airports, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into airport designs. Drop a comment and let me know, what's the most confusing airport you've ever been to? Thanks for watching, safe travels, and good luck finding your gate.